Alright, so welcome back to another video, and now we are gonna create random quote using React. And by the way, this is just a very simple project, but if you're just starting out learning React, I think it's good idea to follow this tutorial. Alright, so for the first, let's create React app. You can do npx create -react -app and say dot, meaning you create React app in this folder, which is random quote folder. I have already doing that, so I have this all folder and file. To running this app, you can type in npm start, and it's gonna be starting to localhost port 3000. All right, so finally, this is the template for React. So, by the way, for the quote, I'm using capperboot in git.github.com/capperboot, and this is the quote we are going to fetch. And let's click this and row. And here we go. Basically, I want to put the link description below, so you don't worry about this. And yeah, this is the link and the outer, and we get a lot of quote in here, and we're going to using method random to generate random quote in here. All right, so let's back to the code. In here, let's go to the source. We need to delete some folder in here. The first is, let's delete index.css. Delete that, and go to the index.js. We need to remove the index.css because now it should be failed to compile because it's going to be looking for index.css. So let's remove the index right here. Save and close. And we need to remove the logo. You don't need that. And go to the app.css. We need to remove the content, everything inside app.css. Close that out. And inside app.js, let's remove the logo in here. And just get rid of the header here, and just say h1, say hello world. What I'm doing. All right, save, and now we should have hello world in the browser. All right, so we get a hello world in here. So let's create another folder inside the source in here, which is components. Inside the components, let's create a quote.js, and let's create a functional base component. So import React from React, and let's create a cons quotes so that equals to arrow function, and it should be return JSX, and under in here let's export default the quotes like so. And inside of return in here we need to say div and say quotes for now. Okay, save, and now let's bring into app.js. We need to import quotes from /component slash quotes and paste in under the hello world, say quotes. Save, and now we should have quotes in the browser. Here we go. All right, so now the first is we are going to styling the template, and after that we fetching the real quote from the link right here. Okay, so let's back to the quotes.js. Let's remove the div right here, and in here we need to create a div with the id quote box. Let's give a div with id quote that dash box. Need to wrap everything inside this id. Right, inside in here, let's create a div with id text. It should be the quote. So let's create a paragraph and say lorem, say 3D. Here we go. And under quotes, it should be the outer. Say div with id outer and say paragraph, and let's say John Doe. All right, so under the outer, let's create the buttons. So let's create a div with id buttons. Ahmed, come on, man. Why is not complete? It's not autocomplete. Buttons. Okay, thank you. And let's create a social media. And inside in here, we need to create basically two buttons. The first is Twitter and the second is Tumblr. Let's create a link tag with the id tweet quote. And it's not go anywhere for now. And inside a link tag in here, we need to say span and img. We want to put the icon in here. So let's copy this and paste under in here, and it should be id, let's say tumble dash quote. All right, so under the social media, we need to create the new quote. So let's create a button and let's give an id call, say new dash quote. There we go, and say new quote. Save, and now let's see in the browser. Let's get rid of the hello world right here. We don't need that. Okay, so let's styling that. Let's go to the app.css right here. So let's try that. Let's try to change the background to red. Save, and yeah, it's working. By the way, we are gonna using font Google font, and the font we are gonna using is no need to. So let's go to Google font right here and make that bigger. Oh, come on, man. My internet connection is so very fast. So let's say no need to right here. Let's click the add button in here. Click this and just import. Copy and go to right here, and up here we're gonna paste in there. And to use the font, we are gonna using this line. So let's go back to the app.css, and in here let's say body, and you're gonna paste in here. So for the in here we need to say margin 0 and padding 0, 0 padding 0, say box sizing border box. Cool. Save, and let's close the Google fonts. We don't need that. Let's make that look like that. Cool. So let's change the background to say 0059 FF. Save, and we get a blue right here. Cool. All right. So let's select the quote box ID and change the background to white, and give a width to 40 rem. Let's see, say margin 10 rem top and bottom, and auto to left and right. Bam. Cool. So give a border radius, let's say 5 pixels. Okay, so scroll down. Let's select the text. We need to give a padding, I think. Let's see, padding, and just say 3 rem or something. Yeah. So let's go to text, and we are going to change the font size to say to rem, and give a margin bottom, let's say 1.5 rem. All right, so let's remove the maybe like that and save. Yeah, here it is. Let's go back to the CSS and let's grab the outer, and we need to say display flex, and justify content to flex n. We're gonna push to the right side in here, and just change the font size to something like 1.2 rem. Save, and it should be 2. Yeah. All right, so yeah, for the social media, I want to pasting my SVG icon. All right, so now we have the 2 SVG right here, and let's go back to quotes.js. We need to import the SVG, so import Twitter icon. It should be equals to, not equals, it's going to be from dot slash, and say I think dot slash. Let's see the name, Twitter, right? Let's see, twitter.svg. Okay, copy paste. It should be the Tumblr, and SVG should be, all right. So let's put in here the source. Let's say Twitter icon, and in here let's say Tumblr icon. So save, and we should have the icon in here. Let's see. Here you go. It's too big, but we're gonna styling that. Back to the app.css. Let's select the buttons. We need to say display flex, line item center, and where is that? Say justify content to space between, and just give a margin top to rem. Save, and here we go. So let's select the SVG right here. Let's say social dash media, and you're gonna grab the link tag and the ing. So we need to give a width. Let's just say 1.5 rem. Save, and here it is. Pretty cool. So in here we need to say social media, and every link tag inside the social media we need to say margin right to 0.5 rem, and let's give a background to this color and give a padding 0.3 rem to the top and bottom, and 0.5 rem to left and right, and just say cursor pointer, save, and why I'm doing this, save, and now this is what we have. Okay, all right, so let's give a social media display flex, and it should be cool. All right, so now let's change the color to white, which is the icon color. You can go to the SVG and say Alt Z so we can see everything inside it here. What we need to do in here is go to the SVG and add styled, and it should be equals to fill, and give a color that whatever you want. Let's just say white, and save, and let's see, should be changing. All right, so we need to just copy this style and go to the Twitter, and let's paste in here, save, and should be white. All right, so go to the app CSS, say border radius in here, say border radius, say 3 pixel. So I like to, when I hover this button, have a just little effect. So let's, under here, let's say social media link tag, and hover, we need to say opacity to say 0.9, save, and now we get the, yeah, just a little animation, it's little hover effect. All right, so now let's styling the button quote. So scroll down, and here let's grab the new quotes ID, and we're gonna say the background to this color, and say just give a border none. What happened? Let's say color to white, give a padding top and bottom 0.7 rem, left and right 1 rem, say font size to say 0.9 rem, and say font weight, let's give a bold, and say border radius 2 pixel, and let's say outline none, and cursor to pointer. Save, and now we get a button. Alright, so let's give a opacity hover effect. So new quote hover, say opacity 0.9. Save, and now we get a opacity. So yeah, I think that's it for the styling. So let's close the app. Not yeah, just close that and go back to the quotes right here. Make that bigger. So let's import use state and use effect. So use state and say use effect cool, and inside this quote, the say quote, and set quote, set that equals to use state, and by default let's just say empty. Copy and paste, and should be the outer, and say set outer. So let's create a function called get quote is set that equals to a row function, and in here inside in here we're gonna fetch the link right here. Basically I'm gonna using fetch. Of course you can use Axios if you want. So let's create a variable, say URL, and let's set that equals to the link right here. Alright, so in here let's say fetch and put the URL in here, and then we get the response. We need to JSON, so response.json, and now we get the data. So then data, it should be console log the data. Alright, so I want to this function will be running every we click the button right here. But the good idea, if you're fetching data from the API, you should fetch the data inside the use effect. So let's use this effect right here, and we are gonna put our get quote inside in here. We're gonna running that, and you need to paste in empty string inside it. Alright, so let's see in the console and spec element, and I hope that work. Say console, and we get an error right here. What is that? What the problem is? Oh yeah, we need to just copy the URL and of course the HTTP, and in here we don't have that. So let's paste in the URL, and now we should get the array. I hope that. Come on, man. Here it is. We get a quote, and inside in here we have array, and yeah, we have quotes and outer as well. Pretty cool. We need to grab the quote. So let's say data dot quotes, save, and now we get a quote. Here it is. We have a 1002 quotes. All right, so let's I'm gonna show you like in the components right here. We have state empty, as you can see in here, and it should be the quote and the outer, it should be empty. All right, so if I add something like in here, say title, save, and should be title in here. But now what we are gonna do is we are gonna set the quote, which is quote right here. We are gonna paste in inside the quote in this state. Right, it's gonna be pasted inside in here. So before that, I just want to create a method random. So let's get rid of this for now. And in here, let's create a variable called, let's see, data, and set that equals to data dot, say, quotes, and a random number, and it should be equals to math dot floor, and say math dot random, which is a method in here. We're gonna time with data dot length, say length. So if I console log the random number, let's say quote, I think, let's say data quotes, and say data quotes. Okay, so now save, and let's see in the console right here, under in here, we are gonna get 7. It should be random. When I reload the browser, now we get 55. It should be random for every uh, length we have inside a quote. Alright, so let's get rid of the console right here. We need to say let random quotes, it should be equals to data, and we are say random number, and if I console log the random quote, save, and let's see in the console, now we get undefined because let's see, it should be data quotes, not just data. Save, and here we go. We get a quotes, and we get an outer, and it should be random. Okay, if I reload, we get a hairy fourth. Right, when I reload, we get another quotes from plot. Alright, this is basically what happening is in here it should be quotes array in here. Okay, this data quotes, and In here we are gonna be creating a random number to from 0 to whatever the length we have inside the array. That's why we times with data quotes dot length, and in here we accessing for the random, so data quote should be in here, and we're gonna access the maybe we get a 1 random, should be 1 in here, it should be 1 in here, and we get a 0, should be in here. Okay, that's what happened basically. So yeah, we need to get random every user click the button in here, so we need to say on click. What happening on click, it should be equals to just say handle click, and let's create a variable called handle click. In here let's say const handle click, set that equals to a row function, say const right here. So every user click the handle the new quote, we're gonna run the quote get quote function. So get quote right here. Okay, so now save and make that bigger. So every time I click the new quote, we are gonna get the new quote in the console. New quote we get, right? We have a different quote when I click the button in here. Okay, so now what we are gonna do is we are going to set the random quote inside a state right here. So let's just remove the title, and under in here we need to say not just console log, we need to set quote, and we're gonna set the random quote, and what is that quote, because we're gonna accessing the quote right here. If you want to access the outer, you say dot outer. Okay, so let's copy and paste, and this is going to be the outer. Okay, when I save that, back to the browser and go to the components right here, and I'm not sure why the outer is not working. Say set outer. Oh yeah, it should be set outer. Okay, save, and it should be work. So every time I click the new quote, we get new inside the state right here. You see that? We have the quote. When we click, it's have a different quote every I click the button. Pretty cool. So now we get the quote inside this variable and outer inside this variable. So just put for every where you want. So we need to put the quote inside the text. So let's give a curly braces, and we're gonna put the quotes in here. Just simple as that. Just make sure we should be quote, and the outer let's set to outer. Save, and now it's working. Here it is. We have a quote and outer, and every I click the new quote, we have a new quote. Alright guys, I think that's it for this video. Yeah, here it is. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I'm gonna see you in the next video. And yeah, bye.